Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Welcome to a marvelous Monday. So glad that I can be with you all today. As you all know, I am Miss Hope. I'm so glad to be here with you all. So, how was your weekend? Hopefully, you had a great weekend, had fun with your family and friends. And now, today is Monday, a marvelous Monday. Some of you have started school today. Some of you did not start school today, but you will start next Monday. No, next Tuesday, I'm sorry, on the 2nd. There's that Wednesday. Let me see. Let me check those numbers. I am so sorry. Let me check that. Let me check. Oh, yes, it is Wednesday. So some of you will be starting school on Wednesday, especially here in Philadelphia. Students will be starting school on Wednesday, September the 2nd. So, all of you who are in school and who haven't been out of school for that long today, welcome. Those of you who will be watching later on, welcome. Those of you who are watching and you will be starting school on the 2nd, welcome. Parents, teachers, parent, friends, welcome to you as well. So before I get started with Miss Hope's Reading Hour, there is a special birthday today. I would like to personally, publicly say happy birthday to my mom. It is my mother's birthday today. So happy birthday, Mom. I know you had a great time on Saturday with your surprise Zoom party. And of course, you know I love you, and we all love you, and we wish you all the best and many more birthdays. So, happy birthday, Mom. Wanted to say that publicly to everybody. All right. So, maybe that's something we should start doing. Oh, just came up with an idea. Mm-mm-mm. Maybe that's something we should start doing, celebrating all of our young ones' birthdays here on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Okay, so look out for that soon. I like that idea. Isn't it nice to just be able to come up with ideas right on the spot? So that would be a great idea to celebrate all of our young ones' birthdays on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Okay, all right, we will get to that. So, welcome to my Facebook group friends, my Instagram friends, my YouTube friends, and we have some new friends, y'all. We have another platform we are on. Now, I didn't say anything at first, but for about a week or more, no, about 2 weeks, we have been on a platform called Periscope. And we have some viewers on Periscope. So, welcome, Periscope friends. Miss Hope's Reading Our Friends on Periscope. Welcome. So, um, welcome to you all. And I'm hoping that you are having a marvelous Monday so far. One other thing that I need to talk about before we get to the books. Now, as we are talking about, it is getting back to school time, right? So, on Facebook, on the Facebook group, there is a poll that is right there on the top before you get to comment on anything else or get to see anything else. It is a poll, and you need to vote for what time you would like for Miss Hope's Reading Hour to be broadcast during back to school time. Because at 3 o'clock, most kids get out of school at 3 o'clock. And now that most kids are either on virtually or they're going back to school, maybe alternate days or 5 days a week, most children get out at 3 o'clock. So they're not going to be able to see Miss Hope's reading hour live at 3 o'clock. And I love doing the live with you all so much. So I wanted to know what time you all would like for Miss Hope's reading hour to broadcast. It is either 5 p.m., 6 p.m., or 7 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay. So I need for you to vote. Please, I need for you to vote. Okay. So I need for you to vote and say on the Facebook group what time you would like to see Miss Hope's reading hour broadcast on Periscope, on this video or any video up until August the 29th. Remember, I told you guys you have until August the 29th to vote, because that Monday, or wait a minute, that Wednesday, because I believe that we're going to broadcast again on Wednesday, because I think that Labor Day is the 1st, I think. Or is it the 5th? I have to check that. I never remember what day Labor Day is actually going to fall on. Okay. So I need to know, because the very next time that we broadcast, Miss Hope's reading hour is going to be broadcast at that time. It's not going to be at 3 o'clock during back to school time. Okay. So I need to know, please. Okay, on Periscope, in this video or any video past today, any video this week, I need for you to put in the chat. If you can make comments, I need you to make a comment as to what time you would like for Miss Hope's reading hour to broadcast. Okay, so I need to know that from you. I need to know. On YouTube, whatever video you watch where I talk about that poll, I need for you to put in the comments, right? I need for you to put in the comments that I want Miss Hope's reading hour to broadcast. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm so sorry. I want Miss Hope's reading hour to broadcast at either 5 p.m., 6 p.m., or 7 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, mind you, because I'm in Philadelphia. That I wanted to broadcast at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., or 7 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay. And on Instagram, anytime you see one of these videos talking about what time we're going to change to for back to school time, I need for you to put in the comments whether you want it to be 5 p.m., 6 p.m., or 7 p.m. Thank you so much on Periscope, Valerie. Thank you for saying that you wanted to be at 5 p.m. Okay. So that's what I need you to do. I need you to comment and say what time you want it to be. All right. Now, let us get to the books. Since back to school time is upon us, I wanted to read 2 books. If you saw the teaser, I wanted to read 2 books that had to do with school supplies, but in a different type of way. Okay. So, school supplies, of course, you need paper and pencils and books and stuff like that. But did you ever think that school supplies have a personality, or that they might go through some troubles too? Did you ever think that? We will discuss that today in our first 2 books. Now, our first book is called Love from the Crayons. This is a book by Drew Daywalt and Oliver Jeffers, from the creators of The Day the Crayons Quit. I love that book. That was such a good book when we read it. Okay. So I think I may have all 3 books in that series, actually. So I really, really like these books. I hope he writes more books about the personalities of these crayons. Okay. So Love from the Crayons by Drew DeWalt. And then there's this one, which is a new one. They're both new ones, but this is called Eraser. Did you ever think about what erasers go through? Never thought about it? Well, we'll find out. This book is by Anna Kang and illustrated by Christopher Wayant. Okay, so that's our second book. And then, y'all know, we're going to get back to Belly Up. We have, found out some things about how poor Henry the Hippo went belly up. We're still following the crumbs and the clues. So we have to find out really what's going on, okay? So let us get to our first book. Put that back there so I don't lose it. Love from the Crayons. Oh, we need our ambiance, friends. We need our ambiance. Love from the Crayons. Love is red. Oh, wait a minute. Nope. Yes, love is red because love comes in all shapes and sizes. Love is purple because love has its own imagination. Love is brown because sometimes love stinks. Love is gray because love can be small and soft or big and strong. Love is white because sometimes love is hard to see. Sometimes. Love is green because love is helpful. Love is yellow and orange because love is sunny and warm. Love is blue because sometimes love is stormy. Love is pink because love can be silly. Love is peach because sometimes love can hide. Love is black because love isn't always bright and colorful. Love is every color. Every color. The end. How nice is that story? You know, love comes in all different kinds of ways. And the school supplies of crayons help you to learn that. See, they're not just good for coloring, they're good for making you think. Remember that. All right, on to our next school supply. Eraser by Anna Kang, illustrated by Christopher Want. All right, so let's see what's under this paper. Oh, I'm smiling and I'm happy. Why do you think I'm smiling and I'm happy? What do you think this book looks like underneath this paper cover? I know you can guess. You should know me by now. It looks exactly the same. Of course, that always makes me excited. So that if I lose the cover, I don't lose the cover because it still looks the same. All right, let's see what's going on with Eraser. Let's see. I was just, testing you. Excellent. Thanks, I guess. I'm just naturally good at math. See all those people, all those school supplies that might need an eraser. You totally rocked that math test. Pencils so sharp. I wish I was as cool as Cobalt. Everyone thinks Pencil and her friends are the smart and creative ones. It's not fair. And look at tape and glue. They can get anyone to stick together, even pipe cleaners and buttons. Kumbaya. We all love paper. Whenever I see you, I feel like I can do anything. And Scissors, well, she's just kind of scary. I don't ever run. What do I bring to the table? Nothing. I just take things away. You make everyone look good. You do an excellent job. I'm tired of being just the cleanup crew. Don't you ever feel like you're more? More what? Lunchtime is over. Everyone gather round for a science project meeting. I hear it's worth half our grade. Not you, Eraser. This is a creative meeting. Oh, man. That night, rub, rub, rub. This is going to knock their caps off. Ta-da! It's for the science project. What do you think? It's wonderful. Very modern. Uh, 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 uh. Uh-oh. What do you think is going to happen? Choo! Oh, I'm sorry, Eraser. I'm all clogged up. Enough with the fun and games. We have real work to do. Later that day. Looking good, everyone. Let's all take 5. Eraser, what are you doing? Helping? Eraser has one job: to clean up after me. It's not my fault she can't actually make anything. Except a mess. I'm tired of being Pencil's pooper scooper. Please don't go. We need you. Are you sure, Eraser? Fire away. Oh no. She's leaving. What are they gonna do? Pencil's not a very nice person, as a matter of fact. Forward my mail. Spring. Swoosh. And she's off. She's gone. Since no one seems to need her around. Ow! Sorry, dude. Eraser? Hey, guys, look! It's Eraser. I'm a huge fan. I love your work. You do? Well, sure. We're all first drafts. Without us and you, there'd be nothing to hang on the fridge door. Did you ever think about that? I do create. I create second chances. Mistakes make us great. Meanwhile, back on the desk. Oh no! I forgot to check my math homework. Oh man. Tisk tisk. Oh! This is not good. Yeehaw! Eraser is back! And I brought some friends with me. Hooray, we made missed you. Oh, thank goodness. They're going through my entire sheath like there is no tomorrow. It's been totally bonkers. Looks like you might need a eraser after all, huh? Eraser, I'm sorry. I think I need your help. Will you please help me? You bet. Let's get to work. Take your time. You're doing great. We can always fix it. The next day. Woohoo! Hooray! Look at this beautiful science project. Look at that. Pretty nice. And they got an A. Oh, we had the straightest lines for sure. Of course, Stick and Glue are singing Kumbaya. You know, you make a very fine point. I'm sure, I like correcting, but what I really want to do is paint. I don't know about that, Whiteout. But hey, you can't say what Whiteout can't do, just like you can't say what Eraser can't do. Thanks, partner. Anytime. The end. How about that? So, the story of Eraser. Something that seems so insignificant. You erase the mistakes, but that's all you're good for. You can never say what somebody or something is good for, right? Eraser does so much more than you think. Eraser just doesn't erase what you don't want. Helps you fix mistakes. Helps you to realize, you know what? You made a mistake, but it's always fixable. Always. Okay? So, very good story. Very good morals in this story as well. Pencil was being kind to me. We don't need you. We're creating. But when you're creating as an artist, I know an eraser is so important. So important. Because what if you want to change something? What if you change your mind and say, oh, well, I don't want that tree over there. Or I don't want those stars over there. That eraser helps for you to be able to change your mind, to make another choice. Erasers are good for so much more than you think. Just like people. Well, very good story. My parent-teacher friends. This can even help with sports stuff, because sometimes on teams, like if you're not like the star, people will make you feel like, oh, we don't need you. You can just sit on the bench or stand over there. But even though you're not the star, you're good in some other way that could be helpful to the team. Because as you saw with the science project, everyone needed to work together as a team to make it come to fruition and get that A+, right? Very good book. You would think Eraser. What's that book going to be about? Very, very good book. All right. So, my friends. Now, we are back to Belly Up. So, let me give you a recap if you weren't here. If you weren't here and you didn't hear what happened so far. Sorry, got to clean my glasses a little bit. Kind of smudgy. Need to clean those so I can see. Whoa, that's really smudgy. Really, really smudgy. Gotta clean that off really good. Really smudgy. Just a moment, my friends. Gotta make sure we clean these glasses so we can see what's going on in this story. Oh, that's much better. So, my friends, belly up. So, when we last ended, Summer was going to meet Teddy in the reptile house at the World of Reptiles. Going to meet Teddy next to the Black Mamba exhibit inside. And of course, she waited until the park was closed to meet with him because, of course, the only thing that's open is the store at the front to make sure that the people are buying more souvenirs and things like that before they leave the park. But no one's in World of Reptiles. So Summer's going to meet him there. And by the Black Mamba exhibit, which is interesting because though the Black Mamba isn't the most dangerous or the most poisonous snake, it is the most aggressive. So is that a clue into like what happened to Henry the Hippo and why he went belly up? Let us find out, okay? Another strange thing about the meeting spot was that it was very comfortable. It wasn't very comfortable. There were plenty of exhibits in World of Reptiles with benches where we could have sat and talked. The central atrium alone had dozens. Meanwhile, the Black Mamba exhibit sat in the middle of a glorified hallway. Most people raced right past it to get to the dinosaurs. World of Reptiles designers had spruced it up a bit, filling the hall with planters full of tropical flowers. But still, it was kind of like inviting someone to your mansion and then asking them to meet you in the coat closet. I did my best to distract myself while waiting for Summer to show up. I tried to focus on looking for the various poisonous snakes in their exhibits rather than at my watch every 15 seconds. But I couldn't help myself. Where was Summer? I checked my watch again, thinking it must be 7:15 already, but found only 3 minutes had gone by. That wasn't unreasonable. Summer might have had trouble ditching her shadows again, or misjudged how far World of Reptiles was from the front gates, or been distracted by something in the atrium. Why had she wanted to meet here? I wondered again. Was there something important about the mamba? I turned my attention to the exhibit. Even among poisonous snakes, mambas aren't that interesting. They don't have the flared hood of a king cobra, the horns of a rhinoceros viper, the beautiful patterns of a coral snake. They're just black, thin and black, which makes them very hard to find. I've always been good at spotting animals, but the mamba didn't seem to be anywhere in its case. As I leaned against the glass, it shifted slightly. That seemed wrong. I took a step back and something crunched under my foot. I looked down. The floor was covered with tiny glass shavings. They reminded me of the time in the Congo when Dad had to jerry rig a new windshield for the Land Rover and had cut the glass himself. Cut the glass. I looked back up at the exhibit. At the top, there was a 2-inch gap where the glass had been removed. It was above my head, but there were several branches inside the exhibit from which the mamba could have easily accessed the gap and escaped. 2 heat lamps were on in the exhibit, but it was cool out in the hall. The mamba, being cold-blooded, probably wouldn't have gone far after getting out. The floor was black. The walls were black. The nearby planter was black, exactly the same color as the mamba. Now I felt my blood go cold. I looked around wildly, trying to locate the snake. To my dismay, the hall was kept quite dark in order to focus everyone's attention toward the exhibits. There were shadows everywhere. All I could see was blackness. Something hissed behind me. My ears prickled. In all my years in Africa, I'd never run into a poisonous snake, but Mom had given me explicit instructions about what to do if it happened. The trick was to make no sudden movements. Even an aggressive snake like the mamba wouldn't attack me unless it felt threatened. However, I couldn't stay frozen like a statue for hours either. I had to figure out where the snake was. I twisted my head around as slowly as I could, struggling to keep my arms and legs still. The hissing suddenly came from my right. I leapt, startled, unable to control myself, and slammed into the glass of the mamba exhibit. I whirled to my right, expecting the sting of fangs in my ankle at any second, and saw the source of the noise. The irrigation system had kicked on for the tropical plants. Tiny sprinkler heads hissed as they sprayed water into the soil. I immediately felt foolish, but had no sense of relief. The mamba was still close, and now I'd made a sudden movement. Panic surged through me. I imagined the snake closing in from the shadows. I couldn't stay still any longer. There was a groan behind me. The glass from the mamba exhibit had popped loose from its mooring in the wall. It toppled. I ran. An adrenaline rush is an incredible thing. I was already 50 yards away by the time the glass shattered on the floor. Definitely near Olympic time for the distance. And I'd had to negotiate corners. I hurtled into the dinosaur exhibit, racing toward the exit, fearing the mamba's bite at every step, alert to every movement, every noise. I rounded a stake of fake trees and something lunged at me. I leaped away, screaming, and stumbled over my feet. It was the dang velociraptor. It didn't look anything like a mamba, of course, but I was too freaked out to control my reaction. I lost my balance, tumbled over the railing, and thudded into the Triassic period. A Tyrannosaurus suddenly loomed over me, roaring and gnashing its serrated teeth. I wasn't concerned by it so much as the floor around me. There were fake plants everywhere, creating 1,000 hiding places. Beneath all of them stretched dozens of electrical cables for the dinosaurs, each thin and black like a mamba. To my right, only 2 feet away, one of them twitched. I wasn't sure if it was a snake or a movement caused by the dinosaurs or just my mind playing tricks on me. I was well past the ability to keep my cool. I vaulted back over the railing, hit the ground running, and sprinted through the rest of the building. I slammed through the exit door and didn't stop until I was a good 100 yards away from World of Reptiles. The Sun was setting, so it was still light outside. I could see the ground all around me. There were no black mambas out there. I stood on a picnic table anyhow, just to play it safe. The entire experience had taken a minute at most. It took me 5 minutes as long to get my breath back. And even then, my heart was still pounding in my chest like a jackhammer. The truth now dawned on me. I'd been set up. It was easy to fake a text message. Anyone could have sent it and signed it from Summer. I had no idea what her actual phone number was. I'd simply seen a message from her and assumed it was actually a message from her. That had been foolish, I realized. But I hadn't been thinking right in my excitement to see her again. And frankly, up to that point, I had no reason to believe anyone would want to cause me any trouble anyhow. The thought flickered through my mind that maybe Summer had set me up. But I shoved that aside. She wouldn't do that. She was nice. She wasn't capable of sending me to my death. I froze at the thought of it. Had someone really tried to kill me? Or were they just trying to scare me off? Either way, they'd sent me on a blind date with a black mamba. No matter what their intention, I could have ended up dead. Certainly one thing was clear. Whoever had killed Henry knew I was looking for them, and they were willing to do anything to keep me from investigating. Chapter 9, World of Reptiles. I was still jittery as I hurried home. I'd always found passing through the park at dusk relaxing, but now I was totally unnerved. Someone had made an attempt on my life. Just because I had failed didn't mean they wouldn't, even though it failed, didn't mean they wouldn't make another attempt. Were they watching me at that moment? I wondered. Did they have something else in store for me? The park, as usual, was filled with animal noises, and that night, every one of them made me start in fear. I worried that any approaching employee could be plotting against me. I imagined assassins lurking behind every building. I know it was completely paranoid, but try having someone lead you into a trap with a black mamba and then see how normal you act afterward. I ran home as fast as I could, but realized even that wouldn't necessarily make me safe. If whoever had set me up could get my phone number, they could certainly find out where I lived. As I approached the trailer, I couldn't help but fear that someone might be waiting to ambush me there. To my great relief, Mom was home. As I cut past the hot tub, I could see her through the window making dinner. Even so, I came up the steps cautiously, making sure no one was lying in wait or forcing her to act normal in order to lure me inside. No one was. Mom was her usual chipper self. She was playing music instead of watching TV, humming along, dicing vegetables for stir fry. Just being near her made me feel 100 times safer. Although I'd have felt even better if Dad had been there too, rather than halfway round the world in China. Unfortunately, I had the opposite effect to Mom. The moment I came through the door, her cheerfulness faded. Mom always had an uncanny ability to sense when something was wrong. Not only with me, she could do it with almost anyone. I think that's another thing she picked up from watching gorillas for so long. Most of their communication was extremely subtle. A glance, a posture, a curl of the lip. Humans did a lot of the same things. Most people just didn't notice. Mom only needed one look at me. What happened? She asked. So I told her. I knew she'd be upset to hear what I'd been up to, but she'd have been more upset if I'd lied to her. And believe me, she'd know if I lied. Like the night before, she listened right through without interrupting. She kept cooking, her eyes usually focused on the stove rather than on me. But this time I could tell she was more on edge. She was angry when I told her I'd disobeyed her and continued the investigation, particularly the part about sneaking into Henry's pool. And then she got upset when I told her about the dead jaguar in Doc's lab. But when I got to the part about the mamba, she forgot about everything else and couldn't stay quiet anymore. She turned from the stove, and I could see the fear in her eyes. Teddy, are you saying someone tried to hurt you? I think so. She knelt in front of me, clasped my arms in her hands, and looked me right in the eye. Listen to me, she said. You need to stop investigating this right now. But that's exactly what whoever killed Henry wants me to do. You're a 12-year-old boy. You're in over your head. You could help me. I mean, I was right that Henry was murdered, wasn't I? That's what all this is about. Someone killed him, and now they're trying to cover it up. Maybe so, but it's not your job to find out who did this, and it's not mine either. Then whose is it? Mom stared at me for a while without answering. I think she was considering telling me that it wasn't anyone's job, that Henry was dead, and that was that, and we should just leave well enough alone. Not because she didn't think it was wrong, but because she was so worried about what had happened to me. Then she got to her feet and called Martin Delgado. An hour later, I was back at World of Reptiles. This time, I wasn't alone. There was a whole crowd of people on account of me. Mom was there, and Martin, and Buck Grassley, the head of security at Fun Jungle, and 3 other security people, Large Marge and 2 guys I didn't know. There were also 3 men from maintenance and all the herpetologists. Everyone seemed annoyed at me for getting them out there at that hour of the night, except the herpetologists, who were far more concerned about their reptiles. They were dismayed by the disappearance of the mamba, but also worried that someone might have done something to one of their other animals. The mamba had yet to be recovered, but the herpetologist had made several sweeps of the hall by its exhibits and assured us it wasn't there. Even so, the lights had been turned on brightly to put everyone at ease. The maintenance guys and the security people all clustered about the mamba exhibit, taking measurements, verifying that I'd been telling the truth, that someone had cut the glass and let the snake out. Every once in a while, I'd notice Large Marge nod in my direction, probably trying to convince everyone that I was the culprit. Mom and Martin were having their own discussion. Mom was annoyed that Martin hadn't brought in the local police. Martin claimed they wouldn't come, as Fun Jungle was out of their jurisdiction. Technically, Fun Jungle was its own municipality. It didn't just have its own security force. It also had its own fire department and power station. This isn't merely a security issue, my mom said, trying to keep her anger in check. My son's life is in danger. So he claims, Martin replied. We'll find out. For a moment, Mom looked ready to throttle Martin. You think Teddy's making this up? He's been known to cause trouble before. My son may have played a prank now and then, but he's not a liar or a vandal, Mom snapped. But Martin didn't appear convinced. At that point, I was glad Mom hadn't told Martin everything I'd been up to that day. She only told him that I'd suspected Henry had been killed and had shared that with Summer McCracken when I bumped into her at the park, but left out the parts about me sneaking into the autopsy and Henry's pool. If Martin had known any of that, I'm sure he would have had security arrest me. How'd you even get the idea Henry was murdered? Martin asked suspiciously. I shrugged. One day he was healthy, the next day he was dead. It seemed wrong. Martin kept staring at me, not buying this. I thought it was just an overactive imagination myself, Mom said, then nodded toward the broken glass at the Mamba exhibit. But now this happened. It's a different story. Martin sighed, not committing either way, as though he still suspected that maybe I'd freed the Mamba and pretended I'd been set up to cover my tracks. Before Mom could say anything else, Buck Grassley wandered over. Buck was in his 50s. He'd grown up in the same town J.J. McCracken had. I'd heard they'd met in kindergarten and been friends ever since. Until J.J. had hired him to run security, Buck had been the county sheriff, though I don't think that had been too tough a job. There wasn't much crime in the area. The police mostly parked behind bushes and ambushed speeding drivers. A born and bred good old boy, Buck accented his park uniform with a cowboy hat and a bolo tie, carried a Bowie knife instead of a taser, and talked so slowly you'd think he'd been drinking molasses. Someone definitely let that snake out, he drawled. Cut the glass, then hightailed it out of here. Any idea who? Martin asked, looking pointedly at me. Buck shrugged. No fingerprints. And cutting glass ain't exactly brain surgery. Anyone with a $5.99 glass cutter from Ace Hardware could have done the job. I got Matthews checking out the recordings. Recordings? My mom asked. Yeah, we got surveillance cameras all over every entrance and exit to every building and most every hallway too. Every exhibit in the park is wired. For instance, like this, J.J. McCracken likes to protect his investments. These animals ain't cheap. This hall has a camera in it? Mom asked. Buck stuck a toothpick in his mouth and nodded toward the far end of the hall. We all looked that way. I don't see anything, Mom said. I didn't either. No, I reckon you don't, said Buck. But it's there all right, embedded in the wall. Tiny little thing. Fiber optics or some such. JJ owns a company that makes them. Of course, JJ owns a company that makes pretty much everything. They all feed into a central computer, Martin explained. Everything they see is digitally recorded. Matthews is reviewing it all right now, Buck added. So you can prove that Teddy didn't do this, Mom said. Or maybe we'll prove that he did, said Large Marge. She butted into our group, giving me the evil eye as usual. It didn't bother me, though. I knew I hadn't done anything. Soon enough, Marge and everyone else would see who the real culprit was. So, my friends, we will end it there on this marvelous Monday. So, last week we ended with Summer sending Teddy a text message saying, "Meet me at World of Reptiles near the Black Mamba exhibit." This week we find out that was not Summer. That was not Summer. Someone had set Teddy up. Can you believe it? Okay. Someone has set up Teddy and tried to let the Black Mamba out to take a chomp of him. And that may have been sudden death, certain death for Teddy. So no one would find out what exactly happened to Henry the Hippo. Good thing that Teddy had good reflexes and he knew how to run and had been in the Congo before. Because if he didn't, I don't know. Teddy might have been a goner. Okay? So now Mr. Buck Grassley comes along, head of security, and says, well, there are cameras. So on our wonderful Wednesday, what do you think we are going to find out? Are we going to find out? Was someone seen on the camera? If so, who was that person? Who cut the glass? Who sent that text message and who set up Teddy? Whew, more questions. Now I'm thinking again that it was Martin Delgado who may have done this. Or what if it's Summer? Or what if it is Large Marge? Who knows? Now there are a lot more questions and a lot more suspects. So, what if it was one of the keepers of Henry who was just like, we're tired of this hippo spraying us with poop and being so mean? We don't know. We will have to follow more clues on Wonderful Wednesday. I was getting caught up. I kept looking at the timer. I said, okay, Miss Hope, get it together. You gotta keep yourself on track. We know you're excited to find out what's going on. All right, so let's go over our first two books before we end our Miss Hope's reading hour. The first book, Love from the Crayons by Drew DeWalt and Oliver Jeffries. Love comes in all colors, and all colors can represent different things. Like they said, black love isn't always like bright and crazy. Sometimes it's subdued, okay? And sometimes it's rich. Black is a very rich color, okay? And it's warm and sunny like yellow and orange. Can teach you some things. Yes, who? Facebook user, who? We got to find out who did Henry in and tried to do Teddy in. Our next book, Eraser, showing that, guess what? Just because you can do one thing well doesn't mean you're a one-trick pony. You can do more than one thing really great, and you can be good for more than one thing. And you can't count people out from being able to help and being a very important part of a group just because you think they're only good at one thing. So until next time, my friends, thank you so much for being here on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. I will see you again on a wonderful Wednesday right here at 3:00 on Miss Hope's Reading Hour. Until then, see you next time.